Hey y'all, IrixGuy here. Welcome back to another live show. And like always, I've got the sound of the super chat. So if you choose to super chat and to do so, you can do that. There's that little button in the chat section that says super chat. You can choose to super chat. That'll make everybody happy. And it will cause the sound of the super chat to erupt. So don't forget that I've got the sound of the super chat right here. So this is IrixGuy's live show, episode 119. So today we got a little bit of everything. Anything y'all want to talk about. Like always, let's keep it appropriate for all age groups. This is an advertiser-friendly channel. So with that being said, let's go ahead and welcome everyone aboard here. We got Jake says. Yeah, Jake says, good evening, and it's showtime for me and my sisters and girlfriend are ready. There you go, man. Jake, you are on the ball, man. These shows go live. You must have some sort of special ringtone for the upcoming live shows because I don't schedule many of them. So that's that's super cool, man. Yeah, we got let's see. What was that update that I was going to share with everyone here? Let's see. Well, let's see. What is it? Yeah, Sony's coming out with something called an Xperia 5.2. I don't know if I like Sony. I don't know. Excuse me about their phones. And it looks like this A7C is coming out from Sony, which is going to be a different type of lens. I'm not happy about that. We need to stick with we need to stick with a standard. We need to stick with that Sony E-mount. A bit of buffering. Oh man, you're right. Yeah, I've got a few uploads going. I appreciate the heads up on that, man. Yeah, that's it is buffering, and I see in my studio here I see 52% buffering. Actually, I've got two concurrent uploads going, and then I've got on top of that, I've got iCloud. If you use a Mac and you use iCloud, it's constantly syncing your files too. So what I need to do is create a special, let's just call it a special staging area for my YouTube video uploads. That way they're only uploading to YouTube and they're not concurrently uploading to, what's it called? iCloud. Because, when I work on my Mac, it's weird the way iCloud works. I need to make sure when I export my video projects for YouTube upload that I put them in a directory that iCloud is not going to automatically start syncing. That's an opportunity for improvement with Apple, and Apple does a really good job. But if they could unveil a feature that would let us pause or just temporarily pause our iCloud synchronizations, our iCloud uploads, that would be a huge value add. So I don't know why they haven't added that. What's the drink tonight? The drink is it's actually Canadian. You're in Canada. This is Crown Royal, man. Crown Royal and cola. So I decided I wanted something different other than rum. Deb's Alert Lover C. Hi, used to say hi, Sean Coonery's dad, but now just hello. Yeah, welcome aboard. And Sean Coonery it's horrible that he had to be rehomed, but the good thing is he's in a happy home and he's adapted, and it's good for him. It's bad for bad for here, but I mean, it was that was a bad situation. I mean, tried everything, gave him years of opportunity and, tried everything we could to try to correct the problem, but it wouldn't work. So, sometimes I don't know. It's disappointing. Let's see. Jake says just a little, but not a lot of it. Yeah, this is, I don't know. I didn't put a lot of Crown in there because Crown in the United States, man, is pretty expensive. So I just put a little bit and then, some Coca-Cola in there. Good thing about Crown is it's so smooth, man. It's one of my top whiskeys. And I've still got that bottle, and I haven't opened it, but when I was in British Columbia, I got I think it's called the limited edition that allegedly you can only purchase in Canada. So I bought a bottle of Crown Limited, which I haven't opened yet. I'm going to save that. I think I'm going to save that for 120 million video views. I think that'll be a good milestone to open the Crown Limited. 100 million YouTube video views will be the Gosling's Family Reserve, and that's that rum that I've got in the fancy box that I brought back from Bermuda. You know, it's referred to as the Black Seal Rum, not because it has a seal on it that is black on the logo, but Black Seal because when they seal the rum bottle in the distillery, they put wax on it, but it's a black-colored wax. So the Black Seal for Gosling's Family Reserve rum actually refers to the wax and not the animal, the seal. So just kind of interesting tidbit of knowledge if you're interested in rums. But I'm super excited about that. I mean, that stuff is, you know, the top tier Family Reserve rum. So that ought to be good. Jake says, I've got some news to share. I'm now a full-time firefighter for South Frontenac. I may have mispronounced that. Fire rescue on call 24/7. And bad news, witnessed my first major car accident with a fatality. Oh, man. So what are you drinking tonight? That's horrible. That has got to be horrible, man. And Jake says, Crown Royal and Coke, an old classic, love it. Yeah, it's good. It's not too sweet. You know, it's not, what's the word for it? It's just a very good flavor profile. And the thing I like about it, you know, if you want to have something like a dinner, like a drink with dinner, you know, like a steak or, burger or something, you know, especially red meats, you know, Crown Royal and Coke will really set that off. So, and obviously I'm not sponsored by Crown Royal or anything. I like my good, my premium beverages, you know, whether it's rum or whiskey or bourbon or. Now I've got some, and I haven't opened it yet, but I've got some Four Roses from Kentucky, and now that is a very, very premium bourbon, Kentucky straight bourbon. So I'm excited about that. Andrea says, "Hey, Irix, glad I could catch this one live." Hey, Andrea, welcome aboard. Good to see you. You've missed the past few shows, but I'll give you a pass because you've been on a ton of them. So that's perfectly acceptable. Welcome back, and I'm glad you were able to make it to this live show. 90 whatever. If you want to try a solid bourbon, try Woodford's Reserve. I have, and it's very good. A fantastic Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. I like Woodford. I like Bullet bourbon. I don't like the rye. I like the one that's in kind of the orange label bottle. There's another one I got. It tastes high tier, but it's actually lower price point. It's called Eagles Rare, and Eagles Rare is distilled by Blanton's. I'm sure you've heard of Blanton's, but it's for lack of a better word, I guess you would call Eagles Rare the poor man's Blanton's, but it by no means tastes cheap. I mean, it is really good. Yeah, and I like Woodford. Maker's Mark is good, but it's just so mainstream, man. The best thing I've ever had, and it's not just because of the hype, but I had a friend that actually, let me have a little bit of Pappy Van Winkle. Now that is an ultra duper exclusive and premium bourbon, and it was really good. Now, did it live up to the hype? Probably not. If I was more of a bourbon connoisseur, I could probably have detected the subtle nuances that made it so spectacular. But I mean, it was very good. Don't get me wrong. But I just couldn't. 90 whatever says yes. Four Roses is great. man, I haven't opened the Four Roses. I've had it before. Haven't opened this bottle yet. It's a single barrel Four Roses. Jake says, the accident was head-on between a semi and a car. And I was ready to possibly see a fatality with this crash. Is that what usually happens when a semi and a car tangle? Man, that's horrible. Andrea. Good stuff. So, you know what's funny? You know, Apple is making the transition to ARM processors. You know, Apple's going to be slowly transitioning their product lineup away from Intel and to the new ARM processors. And it's actually sounding now, strong speculation suggesting that may be expedited. You know, that we may even see a ARM-based MacBook Pro by the end of 2020. So, I mean, if that's the case, you know, Apple is really, you know, fast-tracking the transition. So it's kind of a bummer, you know, for the ones of us that have, and, you know, I expected it. I was completely prepared for that going in. But the ones of us that have a somewhat current model Mac computer, you know, whether it's an iMac or a MacBook Pro, or especially, you know, the businesses, man, that have bought the Mac Pros, you know, if Apple really expedites this transition, that's going to be painful for people that recently invested in really high-end tech. 90 whatever says Buffalo Trace. Yes, I love Buffalo Trace. That's another good one. I'm trying to think of the others. I did the Bourbon Heritage Tour in Bardstown, Kentucky, and I went through where they had all the cask of bourbon. And I'm trying to think they had a really famous bourbon there, and it was called the Bourbon Heritage Tour. So you walked through and you saw all this stuff, and then you had a tasting at the end of the tour in the distillery, and you sat down and they would give you a bourbon glass, and they'd pour the bourbon in there, and they would tell you that you got to look at the legs, because bourbon has what's referred to as legs. So you twist your glass around, and depending upon how it flows and this, that, and the other, you can better gauge the quality of the bourbon. Not only just the quality, but also the proof of it. So there's a lot of interesting. That Bourbon Heritage Tour in Bardstown, Kentucky was very interesting. It's been many years ago, so I don't remember all the details. I don't even remember the name, the brand of, or not brand, but it was what was the name? I'm going to pull this up. It was really cool. Let's see. Oh, here it is. Oh, it was the Heaven Hill Distillery. That's the one that I went to, and it was called the. I'm going to post a link to this. Let's see. I'm just pulling it up. Yeah, so it was the Heaven Hill Distillery. And here's a link to their page. And what was interesting, the Heaven Hill Distillery actually had a fire, and it burned a lot of their unfortunately, a lot of their merchandise. Not merchandise, but their product. The warehouse is full of these aging barrels of bourbon. But, I mean, it was super duper cool. I'm trying to see. So the type of bourbon they do Evan Williams, and they do, let's see, they've got on their brands. They do Heaven Hill. Trying to find the one they let us sample at the end. Elijah Craig. Elijah Craig was the really more premium bourbon they had, and it was good. Yep, Elijah Craig. So that's their high end. But Yeah, they make Evan Williams, Elijah Craig, Pikesville, Larceny Barrel, Old Fitzgerald's, Parker's Heritage, bunch of different bourbons. But that was an interesting experience. Jake says, also today we dealt with a brush fire started by lightning. You know, that's an effective way to start a brush fire, that's for sure. Andrea says, seen the videos of your new workout. Thank you. Yeah. Actually starting to get less fat because, you know, since this COVID stuff, I hadn't been able to go to the gym because I don't want to be in an enclosed space and get sick. So, yeah, it's actually working really well. I've dropped, you know, I still eat whatever. I eat chicken wings and barbecue and you know, some ice cream and this, that. Not a lot of ice cream. I'll eat ice cream maybe once every 2 weeks. But, yeah, the Schwinn IC4 that's just right off my studio set, that's been a great workout, great cardio workout. And then the weight bench I've got with the Bowflex Select Tech, hey, I miss the gym. You know, I miss all the people in there and trying to work out and trying to get bigger than everybody else. More, not bigger, but more ripped up. But, you know, at least I can do this without being around other people. So it's a good way to maintain. And then once this pandemic goes away, you know, get back in the gym and start to get back in good shape again. Mega valued customer. I like to sear a thin cut steak, 1/2 to 3/4 inch thick, on a grill, grate perched on top of 1/2 full blazing hot charcoal chimney. It goes great with Jim Beam. You cannot beat a good steak and a good bourbon. It's just such a, you know, and a lot of people say that, you know, you can't beat a good steak and you know, and a good red. And I mean, I'm not a huge wine connoisseur. When I drink wine, I like a Malbec. I like, you know, I like a Cab. You know, I don't like any wine that's not red. It's just the other wines are just too sweet for me. But it's you can't beat bourbon in a steak, man. 90 whatever says, I don't know if you get into Scotch at all, but a couple of good beginners, smooth, easy sippers if you're just starting, are Glenlivet and Macallan. Yeah, I've heard of both of those. You know, honestly, I've never really tried Scotch. When I got married, I got our preacher a bottle of that Glenlivet. Actually, that was his bourbon of choice or Scotch of choice. And 90 whatever says single malts. Yep, single malts are. It's really you know, and again, it's fascinating. All the different, you know, anything to me that requires a lot of assembly and you know, tweaking and perfecting, you know, that's something that's interesting. And that's why I'm so fascinated with bourbon, is because, you know, most anybody can sell a bourbon. They can put bourbon on the label. But it's the people that really know the craft and know how to create and capture all of those subtle nuances in their bourbon. I mean, that's what makes it different than just a, you know, off-the-shelf mainstream bourbon. Jake says, oh, pager just went off for a med call. I'm not on rescue squad, so I don't know if they'll need me. But if they send out for more guys, I might need to take off, but I'm good for now. Dude, do what you got to do, man. You know, keeping everyone safe definitely takes priority over IrixGuy's Adventure Channel. You know, definitely. Jake says, I find steak and bourbon go good together. So does red wine. Yeah, it does. I just, you know, red wine for me, it's funny. It always gives me a headache. I mean, whether I drink one glass or, you know, half a bottle. A good whiskey or a good bourbon, on the other hand, you know, I can have a glass of that. It doesn't affect me. Now, you get the cheap stuff. Yeah, you're gonna feel awful. mean, I remember back, and I'm an old gray-headed, see all that gray hair and stuff. I mean, I'm getting old, but back when I was young, it was Boone's Farm and Mad Dog 2020. And you're talking about some wicked headaches, man. Yeah, that was some rough stuff. But yeah, it's well worth spending the money for a quality bourbon. And, the best thing about a quality bourbon is that all you need some rocks, some ice, and maybe just a splash of water. You don't want to put anything else in your bourbon because, that takes away from the flavor profile of it. Now, whiskey's a little bit different. When I do a whiskey, I always want, typically I'll use Coca-Cola. Sometimes I'll use RC. Sometimes I'll use Pepsi. I find Pepsi to be too sweet. Coke is just, I don't know, it's just right. And the thing I hate, when you go to these places and you order and you're very specific about it, you say you want a Crown Royal and Coke, and then they bring it out and it's not a Crown Royal, it's that whatever other type of Crown's out there, and it's not the real deal, and you can immediately tell. And that's always a disheartening experience. So yeah, I don't like it when anybody tries to one up me or try to get something past me, rather. It's irritating. Let's see, what else we got here? We have a DJI, they released that magnetic Osmo mobile. It has a little magnet on it. That's nothing too exciting. Allegedly, GoPro may be releasing a new camera in October, or actually September, which is this month, or next month, which is October. So it'll be interesting to see if GoPro releases GoPro Hero 9, and if so, what all is it going to do? Because it's, I'm kind of overdue. I need another action camera to get some hiking footage and that sort of stuff. Gregory Ruger says, hey, sorry I'm late. Hey, man, that's perfectly acceptable. You're here, and that's what matters. And Jake says, the chief will call me if he needs me. I bet he will. 90 whatever says, here's a bourbon twist. If you want to try something different, Kentucky Bourbon Barrel Ale. They have a fantastic English ale. They finish aging in bourbon barrels, smooth and smoky. I'll have to try that, man. That sounds good. Have you had, not bourbon, but speaking of Kentucky, have you had Kentucky beer cheese? Just put some crackers in it and eat it. Beer cheese. 90 whatever. For Coke mixer drinks, use the Mexican Cokes, made with real sugar cane and not high fructose. Makes a big difference in the taste. Yeah, man, this high fructose stuff is, well, not only is it horrible for you, but you're right, it doesn't taste anywhere close to the same as, and I wonder why they get to use sugar cane there, and we get this high fructose stuff in the United States. That's kind of goofy. Because I remember when I was in Mexico that I remember the beer I drank, because at the time I just drank Natty Light in the United States. So when I was in Mexico, I found their Natty Light equivalent, which was Modelo. So I just drank Modelo to keep it on the cheap. And dude, Ice House, Natty Ice, Natty Light, Southpaw. Jake says, I've had that before, 90 whatever. It's really good. I didn't drink much due to some medical conditions he has. Yeah, it's, I tell you, I'm excited to smoke some ribs I've got a rack of ribs, huge rack of spare ribs. So I have to do a how to smoke barbecued ribs 2020 edition video. This is quite a process. It'll be a lot of people call it cheating, but what I like to do is pre-bake my ribs, not just to enhance them with flavor, but to enhance the tenderness. So what I'm going to do, probably not tomorrow, maybe Sunday, is I'm going to do a how to smoke barbecue ribs, how to smoke spare ribs. And that's going to be a video I'll be posting very soon. So it's quite a process to do it right. Nothing nearly as difficult as a brisket. Jake says, you should see how fast I take off when the ID says go to scene now. I'm out the door less than a second, and I'm in less than 10 minutes at the station in the truck on the way to the call. That's wild, man. Needless to say, you're not, I bet you're not able to have a drink right now. So that's kind of a bummer. Because you got to run out and save people. Let's see, what else do we have here? There was something else that was very interesting. Well, let's see, what is it? I'm trying to find it. It was something. I'm just looking through my notes. My show notes. Well, Jake says in Ontario, Canada, if you see a flashing green light behind you, pull over. That's a firefighter. We have green lights on our cars. And 90s whatever says, I've had to cut down. Happy Friday to you too, Andrea. Now that was the sound of the super chat. So anytime that a super chat comes through, this will erupt. And if we get through $100 US during a single live show, then I will break out the drum. If we get through that, well, there'll be something even cooler. So let's see. 90 whatever says, I've had to cut down on the drinking since I got out of the Air Force. A military's pilot's lifestyle can have some alcohol intake. When I drink now, it's only the good stuff. There you go, man. That's the way I am. I've only been a drone pilot, but, when I'm not flying my drone, I only like the good stuff. It's just the only exception, if I'm going out and, just want to get loaded and not spend a lot of money, that's when I'll use the, like the Natty Light or the Natty Ice or the Ice House or, Southpaw or something like that. But if I'm going to drink, I'm not going to go out and go to a liquor store and get something that's cheap. I'm going to get the good stuff and, have a drink or two. And I'd rather have one drink of something really high quality than to have multiple drinks of something that's just, sub tier, That makes a difference. Quality is important when it comes to drinks. And Jake says it is the law to yield to a flashing green light. So yeah, if I'm in Canada and I see a green light, I've never seen one. See, if you hadn't told me that, and I was driving around up in Canada, I would assume that somebody was trying to play a prank, because I would think, flashing blue lights would mean to pull over. So that is not just a good, that is an excellent lesson learned. So remember that, everyone. If you're in Canada and you see a green light, not talking about a red light and green light, to stop in an intersection, but if you see a green light coming up behind you, remember that. I tell you what's bad, man. This Jake says, I was going to say you got a super chat there, and thank you, Andrea, for your super chat. No, definitely. Yep, she got the super chat sound of the super chat. She got the crowd applause, and she got the clapping. So that's really good. That is always appreciated. Let's see. The other big thing, let's see, what was it? What was the other big thing? There was something that I saw from a technological perspective. It was quite interesting. See, I'm trying to find that. Yeah, the lens, the 100 to 400 millimeter Sigma. Dude, I showed y'all in the last live show, I've got the compact case for that. But now it's just a matter of going out and going after the bears. Not approaching a bear, because that's illegal. But finding the bears, videoing and photographing the bears from a safe distance. So that's going to be super cool. And I've got the lens. Everything works great. It's amazing that Sigma has released a lens that's so sharp, but it does 100 and 400 millimeter, and it's smaller and lighter than the Sony 100 to 400 G Master. So, that's just, being able to get that performance in a manageable travel size and a manageable travel weight, phenomenal. Because Sony Alpha cameras, they're mirrorless cameras, are small and lightweight. And having a huge and, heavy and bulky lens negates the positive aspects of the smaller and lighter mirrorless camera body. So it's good that Sigma entered. Now what they need to do, Sigma needs to step it up and find a way to create a teleconverter for that lens. So, I'm anxiously awaiting, Sigma's response, or maybe another party that can do it. And then Jake says, nope, green light in Ontario, Canada, you might see signs that say it's the law to yield to flashing green. That is interesting. So far on my Zwift, which is the app that I use for my Schwinn IC4, I've only done 116 miles so far, but I've lost about 5 pounds just from 116 miles. So that's not too shabby. If I can drop about 20 pounds, I'll be good. And then I'll just start eating a lot again. If I start to fatten up, just start the. But I'm about 25 pounds overweight right now. But that's going to be easy to knock out with this fitness equipment. Let's see. I wish we had another drone, man. DJI's released Mavic Air 2, which is great. But, I wish they would, again, it looks like Mavic 3 is going to be first quarter of 2021, which is fine. But I still haven't seen the new DJI action camera that should also be compatible with the DJI drone. So, I remain, cautiously optimistic that that's going to drop any time now in 2020. Let's see. Ooh, I got buffering. Guys, I've got a buffering issue here because I've got so much network stuff going on. So let's see. Figure this out here. Yeah, it filled up. But yeah, it's because I've got, it's crazy. I've got to figure out this iCloud. I've got to figure out, maybe I'll just export my videos to an external hard drive so that iCloud doesn't pick it up. Jake says the fire station I work at has both fire and ambulance stations together, including paramedic, command truck. It's a rural fire station, so outside of the urban area. Cool. Let's see. This buffering is driving me crazy. I've got these videos that are, things I've been uploading. But it's because it's a double upload. It's YouTube. And not only is it YouTube upload, but it's iCloud upload on top of that concurrently. So live show tomorrow. Go ahead and wrap this up, and I'll come back tomorrow for a live show. And actually, I'm going to be doing what I should have. And I look forward to that. Everybody does their spare ribs a different way. But the way that I'm going to do pre-bake, I'm going to have them, very well marinated, do the pre-bake. It'll help with the tenderization of the meat, overall flavor of the meat. And then I'll smoke, and then I will, finish them up after smoking them, because I like a little bit of texture, a little bit of bark on the outside of the rib. So I'm going to go through the entire process and put that out there. Jake says most Frontenac County fire stations in South and Central Frontenac at least station both fire and paramedics at the same place. That makes sense. Now, do y'all have the procedure there where if the cops are called, that the ambulance and the fire truck also shows up at the same time, or does that happen in Canada? Oh, the air's blowing. That feels good. It got hot out here. It got super hot. Super duper hot. Let's see what that is. Well, guys, I'm going to go ahead and roll out of here. Well, not roll out of here, just roll out of the studio. And stay tuned, because like I said, I've got that how to smoke spare ribs, and I'm excited about that because it's going to be a thorough process. Oh, Geo won. Geo. Oh. Welcome aboard, Geo. This is for Geo. Geo's always here too, just like Jake. This is actually, I'm going to do this for Jake and Geo.